Kamala Harris as Vice President, a historic tenure. Kamala Harris's ascent to the Vice Presidency of the United States marked a series of unprecedented firsts: the first female Vice President, the first Black Vice President, and the first Vice President of South Asian descent. Her journey to this historic role, her tenure, and the impact she has had on American politics and society is a multifaceted story that reflects broader themes of diversity, resilience, and the changing landscape of American leadership. Early life and career. Kamala Devi Harris was born on October 20, 1964, in Oakland, California, to Shyamala Gopalan, an Indian-American cancer researcher, and Donald Harris, a Jamaican-American economics professor. Raised in a diverse cultural environment, Harris was imbued with a sense of social justice from a young age. Her mother was an active participant in the civil rights movement, which undoubtedly influenced Harris's own path toward public service. Harris attended Howard University, one of the most prestigious historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, in the United States, where she studied political science and economics. She later earned her law degree from the University of California, Hastings College of the Law. Her early career as a deputy district attorney in Alameda County, California, was marked by a focus on prosecuting cases of sexual assault, a precursor to her lifelong commitment to protecting the vulnerable. Political rise. Harris's political career began in earnest when she was elected as the District Attorney of San Francisco in 2003. In this role, she was known for her tough-on-crime stance, but also for implementing progressive reforms, such as the Back on Track program, which aimed to reduce recidivism among first-time drug offenders by offering education and employment opportunities instead of jail time. In 2010, Harris was elected as the Attorney General of California, becoming the first woman, the first Black person, and the first South Asian person to hold the office. Her tenure as Attorney General was notable for several high-profile cases and initiatives, including securing a $25 billion settlement for California homeowners hit by the foreclosure crisis and defending the Affordable Care Act in court. Senate career. Harris's successful run for the U.S. Senate in 2016 further cemented her reputation as a rising star in the Democratic Party. As a senator, she was a vocal advocate for immigration reform, criminal justice reform, and health care. Her background as a prosecutor made her a formidable figure during Senate hearings, where she often employed her sharp questioning skills. Her work in the Senate also included co-sponsoring significant legislation, such as the Marijuana Justice Act, aimed at decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level, and the Maternal Care Act, which sought to address racial disparities in maternal health outcomes. Harris's tenure in the Senate was marked by a commitment to addressing systemic inequalities and advocating for marginalized communities. Vice Presidential Campaign. In August 2020, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden selected Kamala Harris as his running mate, making her the first woman of color to appear on a major party's presidential ticket. Harris's selection was seen as a strategic move to energize the Democratic base, particularly women and minority voters, and to bring a dynamic and experienced partner to the campaign. The Biden-Harris campaign focused on key issues such as the COVID-19 pandemic, economic recovery, healthcare, and racial justice. Harris's prosecutorial background and her ability to connect with a diverse electorate were significant assets to the campaign. Her performance in the vice presidential debate against then-Vice President Mike Pence further solidified her role as a key figure in the Democratic Party. Historic inauguration. On January 20, 2021, Kamala Harris was sworn in as the 49th Vice President of the United States, breaking multiple glass ceilings in one historic moment. Her inauguration was a moment of profound significance, symbolizing progress and the ongoing struggle for equality in American society. As she took the oath of office, administered by Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Harris held Thurgood Marshall's Bible, further highlighting the legacy of civil rights leaders who paved the way for her. Role and responsibilities. As Vice President, Harris has taken on a range of responsibilities, often focusing on complex and contentious issues. One of her primary roles has been to address the root causes of migration from Central America, working to improve conditions in countries such as Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador to stem the flow of migrants to the U.S. southern border. This task has involved diplomatic engagement, economic aid, and efforts to combat corruption and violence in the region. Harris has also played a crucial role in the administration's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly in promoting vaccination efforts and addressing health disparities. Her involvement in the American Rescue Plan and the subsequent rollout of vaccines has been instrumental in the administration's efforts to control the pandemic and support economic recovery. In addition to these responsibilities, Harris has been a key advocate for voting rights, an issue that has gained significant urgency in the face of numerous state-level efforts to restrict access to the ballot. She has worked to mobilize support for federal voting rights legislation and has used her platform to highlight the importance of protecting the integrity of elections. Challenges and criticisms. Harris's tenure as vice president has not been without challenges and criticisms. The complexity of the issues she has been tasked with, such as immigration and voting rights, has made progress difficult and slow. Critics have pointed to the administration's struggles to significantly improve conditions at the southern border and to pass comprehensive voting rights legislation as areas where more progress is needed. Additionally, Harris has faced scrutiny over her communication style and management of her office. Reports of internal tensions and high staff turnover have occasionally overshadowed her policy work. Despite these challenges, Harris has remained focused on her duties and has continued to advocate for the administration's priorities. Impact and legacy. Kamala Harris's impact as vice president is multifaceted, reflecting her role in shaping policy, her symbolic significance, and her efforts to inspire future generations. Her presence in the White House has sent a powerful message about the possibilities for women and people of color in American politics. Harris's story resonates with many who see her as a trailblazer breaking barriers and expanding the definition of leadership in the United States. Her advocacy for issues such as voting rights, immigration reform, and healthcare has helped to keep these critical topics at the forefront of the national conversation. Harris's background as a prosecutor has brought a unique perspective to the administration, particularly in areas related to justice and law enforcement reform. Looking ahead, Harris's legacy will likely be defined by both her achievements and the broader cultural and political shifts her tenure has helped to accelerate. As the first woman and person of color to serve as vice president, Harris has paved the way for future leaders from diverse backgrounds, demonstrating that the highest offices in the land are accessible to all. Conclusion. Kamala Harris's tenure as vice president is a historic chapter in American history. Her journey from a diverse upbringing in California to the highest levels of government exemplifies the potential for progress and change in the United States. Despite the challenges she has faced, Harris has remained a steadfast advocate for justice, equality, and the betterment of society. Her role as vice president has not only been about policy and governance, but also about representation and breaking barriers. Harris's story continues to inspire and challenge the nation to live up to its ideals of inclusivity and opportunity for all. As history continues to unfold, Kamala Harris's contributions as vice president will undoubtedly leave a lasting mark on the American political landscape and beyond.